on the list already.
Who's got this consent agenda thing? Oh, it's Gwen. That's good.
Did Jill say is it okay to eat?
It's a big one.
Well, it wouldn't have been so bad, except that's your third plate.
Just your ones.
I don't want to go to waste, Mr. Mayor.
It's the biggest one there. I was like, who is that? It's not me, thankfully.
Gunkel with a G. Okay. This ought to be fun to watch. Let's try it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sierra Vista City Council meeting for December 13th, 2012. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Rick Mueller,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Alicia Ash, Councilmember Bob Blanchard,
Here.
Councilmember Gwen Calhoun,
Present.
Councilmember Rachel Gray, Councilmember Craig Mount,
Present.
Councilmember Christine Wolf.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Mrs. Adams. I'll just mention that the Mayor Pro Tem is in Tucson tonight taking a final, so she won't be here with us tonight. We'll start tonight as we usually do with the invocation, followed by the pledge. The invocation will be led by Reverend Donna Smith from the Graceful Passages for Vets, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Ms. Gray. Please rise.
Please join me in prayer. As we join in consciousness, knowing that God is everywhere that each person is, knowing that God is love and compassion, intellect, all that each one of us desires. What I'm knowing tonight and affirming that as this council comes together, it comes together in that consciousness of knowing that they are taking care of this city called Sierra Vista. Each member has the consciousness of stepping in and stepping forward and embracing all that they are, the one power, the one source, the allness and wholeness of God. As they go forward, each one goes forward with that affirmation of knowing that everything they do is for the highest and best for this city and for this county. I simply say thank you, God, for each one of these council members. Thank you, God, for their stepping up and stepping in and empowering this city with strength and compassion and passion for all that needs to be taken care of, the easy stuff and the hard stuff. I simply say thank you for each one. Thank you for each member. Thank you for everyone that is here tonight. And I feel honored and gracious to be able to bestow this blessing of this Christmas season on each person here. So I simply say thank you, God. Thank you for all that unfolds. Thank you for all that is being brought up, discussed, because it's perfect, it's complete, and it's for the city I call Sierra Vista. I'm grateful for all that takes place, and I'm grateful for all that unfolds. So in that Christmas spirit, I simply say, thank you, God. Thank you for everything that is done. And I allow it to be because it is perfect, complete, and whole. Amen. And so it is.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Reverend Smith. And thank you, Councilwoman Gray. Item number 1 is the acceptance of the agenda. Mr. Blanchard.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the agenda for the regular city council meeting of December 13th, 2018 be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to awards and presentations. We have a number of commissioners that are being recognized as they leave their term, so it'll take me a minute to get around. With the number of commissioners that are leaving, what I'd like to do is bring everybody up here at once. And what I'd do is I'll list all the ones that are here as well as those that aren't here. And if you're here, please come forward. We'll make your presentations, and then we'll continue. We'll start with Mr. Jake Pacheco from the Airport Commission and Mr. John Voisin. Arts and Humanities Commission, Cecilia Lewis, Michael Rosen. From the Commission on Disabilities Issues, if you just kind of do a kind of little arc there so we get everybody in the picture afterwards. That's where Teresa Longmore from the Disabilities Commission. Environmental Affairs Commission, Dennis Ehrenberger and William Hargis. Library Advisory Commission, Jacob Martinez. Planning and Zoning Commission, Jared Gabel. Tourism Commission, Mike Magnuson and Sabra Albritton. Youth Commission, Elizabeth Heinrich, Nicholas Montblow, and Timothy Jones. And then not present from the Arts and Humanities are Virginia Thompson. Environmental Affairs Commission, Tom Kennedy. Parks and Recreation Commission, Wes Hewitt and Joy Mims. Tourism Commission, Rebecca Bork. West End Commission, Daniel Shepard and Dave Grisham. What I'd like to do is read one letter with one name, and I've got letters for each one of you here as well, so have mercy on me and don't make me read every letter. So this happens to be to Jake Pacheco. Dear Mr. Pacheco, on behalf of the City of Sierra Vista, please accept our sincere thank you for your efforts during your tenure on the Airport Commission. We sincerely appreciate you volunteering your time and energies for the betterment of the City of Sierra Vista. Your efforts have helped make Sierra Vista the special place that it is. Because of caring people like you, the city will continue to grow, prosper, diversify, and become a city that we envision for generations to come. A city that will offer a stable economy and a clean, beautiful, and safe environment. Again, thank you for your time and effort on behalf of Sierra Vista. It was certainly appreciated. Warmest regards, Frederick Mueller, Mayor. And we also have a certificate of appreciation as well. Mr. Voisin, thank you, sir. Ms. Lewis, thank you so much. Mr. Rosen, thank you. And that's not Teresa, are you? There, Dennis, there we go. Mr. Herbert, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Marcus, there we go. Congratulations. And we appreciate your service. Let me sneak in behind. We'll get a picture. Everybody kind of scooch in a little bit.
Scooch in.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations. I'll just mention for those not here, we'll go ahead and mail out the certificates. And next up is the city manager's report, Mr. Patuchik.
Thank you, Mayor Mueller, members of the council. Our next regularly scheduled work session is scheduled for January 8th, 2019, 3 p.m. here in the council chambers. Funny to say 2019 already. And the next regular council meeting is then scheduled for Thursday, the 10th of January at 5 p.m. here in the council chambers. A reminder that city offices will be closed on December 24th, Christmas Eve, and December 25th, Christmas Day, as well as January 1st, New Year's Day, between now and then. A couple projects to report upon tonight. The Animal Control Surgical Expansion Project bid opening is set for 2 p.m., and that is tomorrow, December 14th. And then the Strategic Leadership Facilitator proposals are under review. We received 5 proposals and have narrowed that to 2 for interviews, and those will occur next week. And finally, on behalf of the staff, I want to thank the council and the residents of Sierra Vista for the opportunity of serving you over the past year, and we look forward to doing the same in 2019. Merry Christmas and a safe holiday season to all of our residents. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you, Mayor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Patuchik. Any questions for Mr. Patuchik on his report? Yes, ma'am.
When will you be making a decision about the facilitator?
Well, we'll have the interviews, and it will probably be sometime after just after the first
After
of the
the
year.
first.
So,
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Item number 2, Councilwoman Calhoun.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Remember to take a deep breath.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the consent agenda consisting of the City Council regular meeting minutes of November 8th, 2018, and special meeting minutes of November 16th, 2018, Resolution 2018-083, reappointment of Jessica Kunkel to the Parks and Recreation Commission, Resolution 2018-084, reappointment of James Short to the Airport Commission, Resolution 2018-085, reappointment of Carl Halston, appointment of Brenda Charles to the Commission on Disability Issues, and acceptance, with regret, of Jane Strain and Stu Carter, Resolution 2018-086, appointment of Judy Wan to the Arts and Humanities Commission, Resolution 2018-087, reappointment of Linda Nichols to the Employee Benefit Trust, Resolution 2018-088, reappointment of Sharon Lake and Christy Lassiter to the Planning and Zoning Commission, Resolution 2018-089, appointment of Robin Dumas to the Environmental Affairs Commission, and Resolution 2018-090, reappointment of Earl Devine and Thomas Hessler to the Municipal Property Corporation be approved.
It's been moved and second. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank my mother and my father.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now move on to item number 3, which is a public hearing item. Ms. Wolf.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I move that Resolution 2018-091, approval of substantial amendments to the 2018 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan for submittal to the Department of Housing and Urban Development be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. McLaughlin, may we have the staff report, please?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, you'll recall last summer that you approved our 2018 annual action plan, which is essentially our funding application to HUD for CDBG funding. We're proposing an amendment to that plan, reallocating $42,000 of the $70,000 in funding from the Sulgar Drainage Study towards providing park amenities, landscape, and a trail connection to Golf Link Road at Timothy Lane Park, and the remaining $28,000 towards constructing sidewalks in conjunction with the ADA accessibility ramps in the low to moderate income target areas. We are proposing to also reallocate $30,000 from our administration budget towards completing phase 1 of the Sulgur drainage study, which is actually a design concept report, and then finishing the study with the next grant cycle, which would help us take into account the benefits from the stormwater basin being constructed as part of the Timothy Lane Park project. I hope that is clear, and I'm glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. Any questions for Mr. McLaughlin? McLaughlin, you speak. Discussion? Okay. Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. That's a good step forward for that neighborhood. I'll just comment. Next item is item number 4, Ms. Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that ordinance 2018-016, rescinding the current City Code Chapter 40 Personnel Policies and adopting a new Chapter 40 Human Resources Personnel Rules and Regulations and declaring an emergency be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Ms. Fleming, will we have the staff report, please?
Yes, Mayor and Council, thank you. So before you tonight is consideration for your approval of rescinding the current ordinance, Chapter 40, which is Personnel Rules and Regulations, and adopting a new personnel system, Human Resources and Personnel Rules and Regulations, that is included in your attachment A. The big thing that this does is this changes the approval of the personnel rules and regulations to be approved by resolution where they're currently ordinance. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Fleming. Questions for Ms. Fleming? Further discussion? And I'll just let the public know we had a kind of a double work session on the personnel rules and regulations. This is a major overhaul that the staff has been working on for almost a year, if not longer. So this is a culmination of a lot of necessary staff work to bring our rules and regulations up and compliant with both state and federal personnel guidelines. So that being said, if there's any other comments, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? It passes 5-1, or 5-0, excuse me. We now move on to new business. 6-0, excuse me. Mr. Mount.
Mr. Mayor, I move that Resolution 2018-092, approval of the personnel rules and regulations effective January 1st, 2019, declaring an emergency be approved.
It's been moved and seconded. Ms. Fleming, may we have a staff report, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. So before you now is the request to approve the resolution, which would be the 74-page document that you have included that, which would now be the new personnel rules and regulations. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Could you explain for the public what the little phrase declaring an emergency means?
Absolutely. So the declaring of an emergency is because we do not have 30 days between now and the effective date of January the 1st, 2019.
Okay. Any questions, discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now go on to item number 6. Ms. Wolf.
Mr. Mayor, I move that Resolution 2018-093, approval of the amended classification and compensation plan for FY 2019 and declaring an emergency be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Ms. Fleming, may we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Mayor and Council, thank you. So this resolution is our request to have approval of an amended classification and compensation to also be effective under emergency January the 1st, 2019. There is 2 items on this. One is adding the CCOM dispatch to the class and comp, and the other is to add a battalion chief position under operations, as we do have one currently in administration. This would add a second one in operations, and that is attached. Those are the only changes to this. This was approved during the budget process, and these are amendments to that 2019 class and comp.
Okay. Questions, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Fleming.
Thank you.
We now move on to item number 7. Ms. Calhoun.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2018-094, approval of an intergovernmental agreement with Cochise College and Cochise County for the operation and support of a public safety academy be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Chief Thrasher, may we have your staff report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. The agreement before you today is an agreement between Cochise College, the Cochise County Sheriff's Office, and the City of Sierra Vista to provide support and personnel to operate the new Arizona Post-approved academy at Cochise College. This would run January through May, and we would assign one officer per the agreement to serve as recruit training officer, and also provide support in the area of facilities for the needs for their training. We do have the director from the Cochise College Academy here in the audience today if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We'll next move on to call the public. We have three folks that would like to address us tonight. And we'll start with Mr. Phillips. Just come right up here to the microphone. I'm sorry. You got 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, Mayor, council members. I'm here to address a safety issue on our roadways. If you drive during the day, you'll notice at the intersection of Kaye Portal and Wilcox, Chiricahua Family Health employees are parking on the side of a local roadway, which is in itself legal as long as you're not within 20 feet of that intersection. But there is a curve on Kaye Portal that you cannot see. It's become a safety hazard due to visibility. And what I propose is maybe some no parking signs 100 yards on the Wilcox side of Kaye Portal down so you can see that curve. The reason that it is a safety hazard is that to be able to see that curve, to be able to see around these cars, you have to pull into the intersection, into an oncoming lane of traffic. Obviously, that's dangerous. And think about all the accidents that's happened just this week alone. If this happens, I myself have almost been T-boned 3 times there because you have to stop if somebody's coming. We have an opportunity to stop an accident before it happens. And I just propose for some no parking signs, if that'd be okay.
Thank you for bringing this up, Mr. Phillips. You and I talked on the phone previously. I just want to let you know that since we talked on the phone, I've talked with the city manager and the public works director and have referred this matter to our safety committee.
Yes, sir.
And as we spoke on the phone, I mentioned to you that's one of the few intersections I always stop and make sure that I'm clear all the way through because there is a visibility problem. And I think what's happened is with the increase of traffic to both the expanded credit union and the medical facility, which now has a dental facility there,
yes,
there's more traffic and the visibility is still bad. So this traffic safety committee needs to do that. Mr. Petichik, do you have any feedback for me as to when the traffic safety committee is going to look at it?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we are working on that and hope to have a resolution here pretty soon, shortly after the holidays. So we recognize that. We're looking at a few different options. Your idea is also one that we need to consider.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Appreciate you coming. Next up is Mr. Voisin.
See that or not? Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, staff. It seems like I've been here before. Now that I'm retired from the Airport Commission, I'll be able to devote more time to my other passion, which is cowboy poetry. We've got our 27th Cowboy Poetry Gathering coming up in February this year. We've had some changes, and I just wanted to give you a quick thumbnail sketch. It's going to be the 8th and 9th of February. That's Friday and Saturday, with shows Friday night, Saturday night, and all day Saturday. It'll be at the Klein Center for the Performing Arts out at Buena High School. Tickets are available online, at Spur, at Safeway, and through the Visitor Center. So here's one of the things that's new. Anybody have any idea when cattle found their way to Hawaii? How about when George Washington was president? George Vancouver took cattle over to Kamehameha in the 1700s. Kamehameha loved those cattle, and he told those natives, "Stay away from my cattle." Well, 40 years later, those cattle had become pests, and Kamehameha III brought vaqueros over from California to teach the Hawaiians how to become cowboys, or paniolos. as they call them. Well, we've got a fella coming from Hawaii, a retired Navy chief who's been an entertainer for quite a few years, and he's going to talk story, as the Hawaiians say, and share some songs on the Hawaiian side. And it's really something to see. There's no cattle drive, you know, in Hawaii, no Fort Worth, no Dodge City. They swim the cattle. You'll have to come to find out more about that. And because he's coming all this way, we decided that we're going to have an extraordinary raffle. Typically, we have a cash raffle. We give $250 out Friday night, $500 on Saturday. But anybody that's in a seat on Friday night will automatically be entered to win 2 trips to Hawaii. So, aloha. Saturday night's going to be more traditional. We've got young entertainers, more established ones. We've got one girl who's been the Western Music Association Performer of the Year 3 times, and she's only in her 20s. I don't know if you can read the menu here, but it's really something to see. And then Saturday's the best bang for the buck, because all day long in multiple venues on a rotating basis, all of these entertainers, both participating and the headline artists, take turns. And it's really something. At the end of the Saturday performance, as a blend into the Saturday night, we'll have a barn dance. We had it in the gym last year. It was just terrific, so you can come and kick up your heels. Students, embedded in the Cowboy Poetry Group is the Western Heritage Student Outreach Program. If you're not familiar with that, it's a bunch of volunteers who go all across the county to help kids learn about our history, and then encourage those kids to take what they've learned and their skills and knowledge and imagination and write some poems. One of the cute poems from a couple years ago was written by a young'un. It was called Mrs. Sasso from El Paso. I told that to Dolan Ellis, the official balladeer of Arizona, up at the Folklore Preserve, and he giggled and he said, "I'm willing to bet there's a lasso in there somewhere." And there was. Anyway, those kids from as far as San Simon, out in the Sulphur Springs Valley, Benson, but most of them from close in, Palominas, you know, up in this area, all put together their poems. On some of the packets, you have a list of the winners. We have one scholarship winner this year from Buena, which we were happy to have. And it's really something. They perform Saturday. All of them perform Saturday, and the highlight winners perform with the major artists on Friday night and on Saturday night. Excuse me. I'll be right back. I reserve the balance of my time.
Hurry.
I saw that on TV, you know. C-SPAN, I think it was. This is a raffle. We've got a number of raffles. This raffle is for the kids only. Women, mostly in the Sulphur Springs Valley, have fashioned 3 different quilts, beautiful quilts, and the raffle tickets are for these quilts, and all the money from this raffle goes to those kids and their needs in the school. So I missed this farmer's market. I'll be at the next one, and this will be around too. So a lot of places, good places to spend your money. Something else that's new. You know about cowboys, and I do, because we watched any one of 7 channels on our black and white TV, and they were all Westerns.
7 channels? Man.
They don't have any clue. And you can't just tell young kids, come on out and learn about cowboys, so we're doing it differently. We are going to bring them out this way. I guess I lost it. We have a scavenger. Got a number of sites all across the county. We've got GPS positions built in. There's going to be hints in the paper. People will go afar, try and find these places. When they get within 90 feet, their app will light up. It'll give them more information, and they get points. Well, somebody in town said, "Oh, I want to be one of those places." And we said, "Sorry, Pizza Hut is not historical." I still want to be one of those places. And as a result of that discussion, we've got a number of merchants in town, instant winners. So the kids will go far afield for major points, but they'll go to merchants in town for quick instant wins, and they'll add to the accumulation of points towards the grand prize. We have over $5,000 in prizes accumulated already. So if you're interested, watch for it in the newspaper. We'd appreciate it. One last thing, this is what Mr. Cowboy looks like. He's kind of cute. He comes alive. Gold falls down. All kinds of neat things happen. And they queue off of QRCs, and the QRCs are unique to each individual store. And then last, the traditional way, Saturday at Chili's are given a give back for us. So if you go to Chili's on Saturday between 11 in the morning and 11 at night and tell them you support Cowboy Poetry, we get a little bit kickback. So we'd appreciate it. And the last thing, help Judy. Thank you. We really can use some support from the city, and we'll explore that with Judy and others here, but we do appreciate it. So thank you for your time. Oops, I'm out of time.
Well, yeah, you have been, but that's okay. Thank you, Mr. Warshaw. We appreciate your support of this great event for the community. All right, next up we have Mr. Newcomb.
Your last.
I know. I'm gonna miss this.
You're going to have to come back to the council meetings.
This is not a Christmas gift. When you have your budget, you get money from hotels. And you canceled the Flag Day meeting of the City Council in June. The United States of America, sometimes they have the state versus this person or the state versus that person. And I think that where they hide is in the hotels. And if you're wondering what's happening to you, it's probably because your local police and the city council are facilitating the United States of America to wage war upon you. Now, in this city council, in 4 years, we have seen them approve a pay raise for administration and also for everyone else. But hidden in this generosity was that money was going to be going for the medical and workman's comp and such things, their retirement pensions and all that. Our city council approved that, but did not tell the public that. There are issues of transparency that are constantly happening with the city council. The hospital, you took our hospital and put it out of town. Now everyone in the county has to travel to get to the hospital. Before that happened, you were very generous to arrange a parking lot to be put there. Yet a hospital like what was built out of town takes time to happen. It takes time for community development to approve such things. 2 years is not that kind of time. You had a city council vote where you approved an elevator exemption. When you look at this city council, you are looking at people who are not transparent. And it will be really nice to see them go. It will be nice to not have people who lie to us. $100 million, and we had 3 people that are now one and dones, that we wonder how they're going to be compensated. Did they make these arrangements for $100 million to happen here and then leave? It does not look very honest that you took our hospital and took it out of town for everyone to have to go, and $100 million was dropped here. It was done by Nashville, some Nashville company. I have had problems with the Tennessee company. Your Life Care Center is from Cleveland, Tennessee. Now, Cleveland, Ohio is where they have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, behind there at the Life Care Center, I was shot with a pellet gun and attacked by about 10 boys with rocks. And then later on, I had your police on the other side of the post office hold me down so that a Mexican can come up and spray my eyes with tear gas. Now, when you had $100 million dropped here, the medical community's employment probably increased twofold simply because $100 million was dropped here. You have a lot of sweet little girls who are college graduates who are ripping Wall Street off, and they are ripping off Medicare and Medicaid simply because they've been looking at books, because $100 million was dropped here when you approved a parking lot only 2 years before the old hospital was sold, even being sold by a large conglomerate that has $100 million takes time. Yet the transparency of this city government and Mr. Call's county government with the superior courts who have ignored this and not said anything about what you people have done. And the things that your police do to me while you all wax knobs and act like you're the
Your
saints.
time has expired. I would ask you to conclude your remarks, please.
You're a bunch of crooks.
Thank you. Does anybody feel we need to respond? Okay. We'll now move on to comments and requests of council. We'll start tonight with Ms. Wolf.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to thank Mr. Blanchard, Mr. Mount, and Ms. Ash for their dedication to the community, and we have been really excited to have been able to learn from you and move forward. And we will miss you, but we're very excited about some of the new people coming in, and I think that's going to be a good thing. Also, have a good holiday season, and I heard you. Have a good holiday season and be safe.
Thank you, Ms. Wolf. Mr. Blanchard.
I would like to thank everybody that helped me over the 20 years that I've been on city council, and the city of Sierra Vista has really been good. It's probably one of the best cities in the state and if not the country. We're one of the few cities that put money into the reserve that this year, which I think is tremendous. And I would like to say also that I think that the city has the best employees that any city in the state has. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Blanchard. Mr. Mount.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Start off by Mr. Newcomb, who's made this transition a little bit easier for me as we kind of go on through. The staff, I appreciate the last 4 years of what you guys have done, what you've put up with. I know that I can be somewhat disagreeable on issues at times, but I respect and commend you for your professionalism. Police and fire, you guys are the priority. What you do for us and how you risk your lives to make sure that we're all safe or to protect us when we do things that are unfortunate. Thank you so much for what it is that you guys do, and I appreciate it. And anytime I see you guys around town, I'll keep reminding you of that. Tony, over in economic development, you and Mike, I have nothing but faith and confidence in you. I know we talked earlier today, but I think we're on the right track with this team. I'll speak, the last little bit about economic development, where we're at. I would continue to urge an economic development commission, but I know that it's in good hands with you, and you have my full support. As an employer, as a business owner in this community, I trust you. For the department heads, Matt, Sharon, Laura, Dave's not here, Judy, I appreciate the work that you've done to help educate me and bring me around. I know sometimes I would be maybe a little bit on the point with some of the issues, but they're important issues, and somewhere along the line we found common ground, and you got a lot of really good work done over the last 4 years that I was here. and it's all to your credit. You're the ones doing the work, and it's easy for us just to show up and, Barb too, it's easy for us just to show up and make decisions, but y'all have to ultimately execute. Thank you for that. Victoria, Chuck, I wouldn't want your jobs. It's a huge organization. It's a massive undertaking. Nobody does it better. I agree with Mr. Blanchard. It's well run, and I look forward to seeing what happens over the next couple of years. To my fellow council members, thank you. It's been fun. I've appreciated it, the good and the bad. It's been really good. Ms. Wolf specifically, thank you for showing up. We got a lot of done after you came on council, and I appreciate it, the support that you've given me. And Mayor, thank you for a well-run race. It was a lot of fun, and your leadership will be much needed. I wish you nothing but the best, and I'm optimistic for the results. For the new council members, this will not be easy. Your spouses, hold them dear, hold them tight, because if you do it right, you're going to be spending a lot of time working for the public. And that's the sacrifice, and that's the trade-off. I would ask that you think real carefully about what it means to do this. If you're doing it for power or anything like that, it'll fail miserably. But if you're doing it for the public, it'll be hard work, and you'll get the best rewards out of it. And I know each one of you is going to do fantastic work. Benning, not to put you on the spot, but you're coming up here as a business owner, so you're going to be the first person I call if things go south. Good luck. But most of all, my wife, I know she's probably been looking forward to this day more than anybody. 4 years is a long time to ask her to take a side seat to a lot of things that were going on. That won't happen anymore. I know we have bigger things that are coming up very shortly, and I'm excited to spend more time with you over the next couple, 20, 30, 40 years until you decide to give it up.
Did you say bigger things or really a small thing?
And lastly, to the public, you know, without the public giving us the opportunity to serve you, and that's really what this job is all about, we wouldn't be up here. So I encourage the public to stay engaged. Ultimately, everybody who sits up here works for you. We do your bidding. That's what it's about. And I will never forget the opportunity that y'all gave me. Sorry for the long-winded closeout. I'm done. I'll shut up.
Thank you, Mr. Mount. Ms. Gray.
Mr. Mayor, I'd first like to say thank you to the outgoing commissioners for your time and dedication. Welcome to the incoming commissioners. Look forward to working with you over your term. I'd also like to say to Bob that I'll try not to cry, but to say thank you, and I'm going to miss you a lot. So, and just the help that you've given me on the time I've been on council, that institutional knowledge that you have, and being able to guide me and help me through things that we had tried before that didn't work or did work, or why it would or wouldn't. I thank you for that. So, and also to Craig, to Alicia, I wish them all the luck in the future. I'd also like to say Happy New Year and a prosperous New Year to everyone. And I'm looking forward to working with the new council members and looking forward to a collaborative council. And I believe we're going to get a lot done. So looking forward to that.
Thank you, Ms. Gray. Ms. Calhoun.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Rachel, thank you for saying what you said to Bob. I couldn't have gotten through it like you did. And thank you, Bob. And Craig, it's been very interesting and helpful to work with you. I meant that in the sincerest way, truly. And Alicia, too, has been a light to us to bring her knowledge and her interest in serving. I also thank you also for commenting about those outgoing commissioners, and we really appreciate the effort it takes for so many to work for the community. And we welcome the new ones coming in, but also we want to encourage folks out there to just think about serving on one of the commissions. All the information is online of which commissions have vacancies, and we look forward to new people coming in because we do have vacancies. But for those of you who are going out, thank you again very much for your service to the community and to the City Council. Mr. Phillips, thank you for speaking to, I know you had spoken to the mayor before, but for coming forward and talking to us too about what you observed in the community that needed correction. And I want to use that as an example to those of you here who probably already know this, but also to say to your neighbors that we depend on the community to bring things to our attention. With the wonderful staff that we have, we still can't cover everything. And we look forward to community members coming forward and doing as Mr. Phillips did and just bringing to our attention things that you see that need work in our community. That kind of civic engagement can't be replaced by a city council member or a staff member. We need the community to input to us the way you did tonight. Thank you. Mr. Voisin, we always appreciate hearing about the Cowboy Poets, and you have such a wonderful way of doing it. Even though you were a little over time, we didn't mind the comments that you had to make about the Cowboy Poets. And that's a real part of Sierra Vista. And we look forward to it continuing for many, many more years. I know I've forgotten something, but I think somebody else has probably said it too. This has been quite an experience for all of us to be council members. Oh, that's right, I'm not leaving. Just kidding. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Calhoun.
You're welcome.
I just want to start tonight by thanking all the commissioners, those serving, those that are coming on and going off. They play an intricate part in our policy making decisions here in the city. Earlier, we had an informal reception for the outgoing council members, and I praised all of them for their service and their accomplishments while they were in office. Particular note was the over 22 years by Bob Blanchard. So Bob, again, thanks. And Alicia and Craig, thank you for your service and being willing to work with the other members of the council to do some great things for the city. And I know you all will remain involved in civic affairs, so I look forward to working with you all in the future. We have a holiday coming up. I would like everybody to please have a safe, healthy, and happy holiday. If you're traveling, make sure you do the right thing and rest up and don't drive too late, and watch out for the other guy, because we'd like to have a very happy holiday. We don't need any holiday tragedies. And I'm looking forward to working with the new council. We've got some challenges ahead, and we'll talk about that in our strategic planning session. And we look forward for your input, and we know that you're willing to put the hard work in to continue to make Sierra Vista a great place to live, work, and raise a family. That being said, adjourned.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.